Coming up on this special edition of the News at 5, two deadly shootings just hours away from each other. Capital City Police trying to find a gunman accused of firing into a Columbia home, and it's creating a lot of questions. The next shooting taking place in a parking lot. We look into the chaos and try to piece together what happened. The News at 5 starts right now.
Live from the Fox Studios in Columbia, it's Watch Fox News at 5 Local First.
Good Friday evening, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to this special online edition of the News at 5. I'm Freddie Clairvaux. We begin in the capital city. Two different deadly shootings just hours away from each other. The recent incident happening in downtown Columbia. One person dead, 3 others in the hospital, and a shooter police called armed and dangerous is on the run tonight. At this hour, Columbia police saying someone shot 4 people at an Airbnb rental in downtown Columbia just after 5 this morning. Right now, police and people who live in that neighborhood have plenty of questions. Our Megan Gagno joins us live. And Megan, you talked to the police chief earlier about this case. You're outside the Columbia Police Department right now. What can you tell us?
Friendly, just after 5 o'clock this morning, a person in the Elmwood Park neighborhood called police after what she thought was an attempted car break-in. But what unfolded turned out to be much worse.
I saw a gentleman getting into a car, and he said, like, go, 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 and he jumped in and they took off.
Eben Twilley has called Elmwood Park home for almost a decade. She describes it as a quiet, family-friendly neighborhood.
It's a very kind of peaceful area.
That peace was shattered early Friday morning when Twilley looked out her window and saw what she thought was a car break-in at her neighbor's house.
And it looked as though the truck toolbox had been opened. So my immediate thought was they just burglarized the car.
But when a neighbor walking her dog said she heard gunshots and screaming, that's when she took a closer look.
Noticed that they were screaming. I kind of walked over to the house to just look. I actually noticed a hole in the window upstairs that was very clearly a gunshot, and immediately told the 911 agent that it was not a burglary, that it was a shooting.
Columbia police say up to 10 young adults were inside this short-term rental when the shooting started.
It was a very chaotic scene. Although it's a tragic incident, it does seem to be isolated. It's not any kind of pattern.
It was an overwhelming response, which is what you want to see when something like this happens, but it's scary to see in your neighborhood.
2 men and 2 women were shot. One of the men died at the scene.
Never has there been, in any of our neighborhoods, let alone on my block or next door, a murder.
Now, neighbors also expressed concern about short-term property rentals in their neighborhood. Right now, Chief Holbrook says it isn't clear if there is more than one shooter involved, but police do think what happened at the Airbnb property was a targeted attack. In Columbia, I'm Megan Gagno, Watch Fox News, Local First.
Megan, thank you so much for that. Well, a brawl in Columbia turning a deadly early this morning. It happened outside a popular bar and was caught on camera. Columbia police arresting a man they say shot and killed a 33-year-old in the parking lot of where he worked. Our Kiana Jordan is live outside the S Bar and Grill. Kiana, what are officers saying happened here?
Yeah, Franny, right now there are still very limited details, but what we do know is Columbia police officers saying 53-year-old Bernard Jackson shot a 33-year-old Wendell Scholler during the chaos of a fight. Now, this video that's popping up on your screen is from a cell phone showing what appears to be Jackson in a pink suit just moments after shooting Scholler. You can see 2 CPD officers with their weapons drawn. Authorities are saying they were responding to a fight in the parking lot of the S Bar when Jackson pulled out a gun and shot one of the employees. Jackson was arrested on the scene, and officers attended to Scholler, who later died. Now, we are still waiting to hear more information about what led up to this and what exactly happened in this parking lot here at the S Bar off of Garner's Ferry. And right now we know that Jackson has been charged with manslaughter and possession of a deadly weapon during a violent crime. We'll continue to keep you updated about this story on air and online as we find out more information. Another thing I want to add is that I did talk with someone who witnessed this shooting early this morning, and they say their concerns were more about police response time and the fact that there were officers there. They felt as though this shooting could have been prevented. Coming up later, we will hear from that witness and why he feels the way he feels. Live in Columbia, I'm Kiana Jordan, Watch Fox News, Local First.
All right, Kiana, thank you so much for that. Well, over in Kershaw County tonight, the sheriff talking about a shooting earlier this week that sparked a manhunt. Right now, no one has been arrested. Everything happened on Wednesday at a home on Hale Street Extension in Camden. Sheriff Lee Bowen saying today that two longtime friends had an argument that ended in gunfire. The man with the gun lived at the home when the friend visited and confronted him about a dispute they had on the phone earlier. The visitor was wounded and the homeowner left. The sheriff says deputies started searching, but not long after, the homeowner's attorney called saying they would come meet with investigators. The sheriff explaining why no charges have been filed yet.
As a homeowner, I don't want anybody to feel that if you ever defend yourself on your own property, we're going to arrest you and you're going to have to prove you didn't do something wrong. So I want to make sure we got all our T's crossed and all our I's dotted before going forward on any charges for either party in this case because of this sensitive matter.
And that situation, of course, could change. The sheriff saying investigators are still working through the details of the case. In Orangeburg, authorities are looking for a missing teenage girl. They say 16-year-old Diamond Bird was last seen getting into a car with an unknown man yesterday on Danzler Street. That car was a blue Kia with tinted windows. If you see her or know where she might be, once again, Diamond Bird, 16 years old. If you know where she might be, you're urged to contact Orangeburg Police. Well, Batesburg-Leesburg police have charged a teenage boy with attempted murder in a shooting that happened last week. Authorities say a 15-year-old boy is accused in connection to the shooting that happened at an apartment building on Willis Street. The teen was arrested after police and Lexington County deputies executed a search warrant at another apartment in the same complex. They found marijuana, methamphetamine, and 3 guns. While there, authorities say they arrested another juvenile and 3 adults with charges related to the shooting. Here they are on your screen. Their charges include possession of a firearm by a felon and unlawfully placing a child at risk. For each and every one of these stories, we will continue to dig for the very latest. When we learn new details, you'll be the first to know by downloading the Watch Fox News app. Use the QR code you see on your screen to get the headlines sent straight to you, or you can visit our website at watch.com. Well, let's turn our attention over now to the weather department. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoes. A beautiful day out for us, but you better enjoy it now, right?
Yeah, that's right. Or dry today. Certainly hot, but at least dry. So good day to head to the pool because of all this hot weather. We have some storms in our future, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But here's what it looks like right now. Widespread temperatures in the low 90s and feeling even hotter than that. Check out Sumter, 90 with a heat index of 95. At the Columbia Metro Airport, it's 90 and feeling like 93 at this hour. We do not have any rain on the radar locally at the moment. We've had one stray shower very close to I-26 in Orangeburg County over the past hour or two, but that has been it. And the chances are we are going to remain dry for the rest of the day today. But South Carolina is really surrounded by storms today, especially to our northwest here in Tennessee in particular. Quite a few storms developing there. This right here is the first of several instances that we're going to see severe weather across the south all the way back to the southern plains over the next few days. The best chance for severe weather will stay to our west today. There is a level 1 marginal risk for severe storms from upstate to the western Midlands of South Carolina this evening, but chances are we will not have to worry about that. Now, our severe weather threat increases on Saturday to a level 2 risk across South Carolina. It will depend, though, on how storms develop to our west. And then on Sunday, once again, most of us in the Midlands under that level 2 slight risk for severe weather. I will say, though, that confidence on where exactly storms develop and where they track is a little bit lower than normal for the next few days. So it's not a guarantee that you get storms this weekend. But if we do get storms, they could be strong thanks to the warm, humid weather. So storms are going to develop in the southern plains, numerous clusters of them, and track east-southeastward across the south and move into the southeast over the weekend. It's where exactly those storm systems track that will determine whether or not we get any wet weather locally. Here's the latest on Future Watch. It's probably not going to be exactly right, but it gives us a general idea of what we can expect over the weekend. There's a chance of isolated showers and storms in the northwest Midlands this evening. Most of us will avoid that, so your Friday night plans are likely going to go off without a hitch. Dry tomorrow morning, and then a chance at some strong storms tomorrow afternoon and evening. The latest model guidance suggests that the southern Midlands will have the best chance at those storms, but we could see that farther north, including in Columbia, at some point tomorrow as well. What happens on Saturday and Saturday night will determine what we see on Sunday, and the latest on Future Watch does not show a whole lot on Sunday, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We could have some stormy weather to close out the weekend as well. With any storms that do form, they will pose at least some threat for severe weather, damaging wind being our primary concern. When it's not raining, it's going to be hot, especially tomorrow. Highs into the low and mid 90s. Heat index could climb up near 100. As we head into Saturday afternoon, forecast high in Columbia and Lexington is 94 degrees. That's the hottest temperature on the 10-day forecast, but it's not going to cool down anytime soon. Highs will remain in the upper 80s and low 90s each of the next 10 days, and each of the next 10 days will feature at least a chance at some scattered thunderstorms.
Today marks 81 years since the historic D-Day invasion of France. It's often considered the beginning of the end of World War II. On June 6, 1944, thousands of Allied troops from the United States, the UK, France, and Canada stormed the beaches of Normandy. According to the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, the U.S. Army lost the most men in the amphibious landings. Some 2,500 American troops died in the beach assault and airborne operations on D-Day. However, the successful land, air, and sea operation was a turning point in the war, and D-Day ultimately led to the liberation of Western Europe from Germany less than a year later. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is in Normandy, France to mark the 81st anniversary.
We remember the losses, we celebrate the victories, we rededicate ourselves to the fight for liberty, security, and peace.
Well, some U.S. veterans were also there at the Remembrance Ceremony in Normandy. And closer to home, some veterans marching onto the State House in downtown Columbia. They were leading a march in what's being called Operation No Overlords. Organizers for the group 5051 say they marched today to carry the legacy of the D-Day veterans decades ago, honoring the people who fought for freedom. They also say the march is to, quote, reject authoritarianism on U.S. soil and remind our leaders we serve democracy. The march ended on the steps of the State House, where they rallied and called on others to join their mission.
Remember what they sacrificed for. Remember who they fought against and why they fought against them. Just make sure you remember them.
The United States military is a sign of hope for the oppressed people of this world. And today, the current administration doesn't believe that. And they are erasing history of everyone who's ever contributed to our country.
Well, the group has another march and rally tomorrow in Anderson. In your political watch, a war of words between President Donald Trump and Elon Musk exploding, and the fallout continues to this day. Sinclair's Christine Frizzell has more.
President Donald Trump looking to turn the page on his feud with Elon Musk, telling CNN Friday he's not even thinking about Elon and that Musk has got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem. Also telling ABC he's not particularly interested in talking to, quote, the man who has lost his mind. The president reportedly even looking to sell the red Tesla he bought after a photo op designed to boost Musk amid violent protests over Musk's work with Trump. Musk officially and amicably left his position running the Department of Government Efficiency last week. But things took a turn this week when he began criticizing Trump's legacy legislation, the so-called Big Beautiful Bill, saying it was, quote, a disgusting abomination.
Elon and I had a great relationship. I don't know if we will anymore.
The disagreement on their legislative differences quickly moved to personal attacks. The president took to social media Thursday, writing, The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. Musk hit back, accusing the administration of withholding information about convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein because Trump is cited in reports. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not been made public. The president's allies were quick to defend him and take sides.
I'm on President Trump's side. He's our president. He's our commander-in-chief. Elon Musk is a private citizen. He's allowed to say anything he wants to say, and that's within his First Amendment rights.
You pull the government contracts, and we'll see how tough this guy is.
Despite the fallout, some Republicans are hopeful the two will make amends.
I believe in redemption, and I think it'll all work out.
I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
The Congressional Budget Office is projecting President Donald Trump's big tax bill will lead to new interest on the national debt. We're talking to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. The price tag would be more than $550 billion, raising the overall cost of the plan to about $3 trillion over the next decade. House Republicans say their Senate counterparts will cut more. Democrats argue it's on the GOP to figure out what to do.
In the Senate, we can adjust certain provisions like the salt tax deduction, and Leader Thune today talked about eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse.
I hope that this is a moment where even some of the Republicans in Congress who are, you're right, trying to duck out of this fight. The last thing they want to do is be caught in the crossfire here, but they ultimately are going to have to make a decision on this bill.
Well, the cost of fracturing the Republican Party, with some openly speaking out against it. Well, there is unity from every state on another part of the plan. Hundreds of lawmakers are pushing back against a ban from states regulating artificial intelligence for 10 years. House Speaker Mike Johnson firmly supports the ban, saying it's something the country needs.
We have to be careful not to have 50 different states hyper-regulating AI because it has national security implications, right? If some of the deep blue states smother it with regulation as they're prone to do, then it might hamper our development and it could put us in a compromised position of.
Well, state lawmakers argue the provision would make protecting citizens from AI-related harms such as deep fake scams and unemployment more challenging.
Welcome into sports, everyone. I'm Sports Director Matt Dowell. Our Watch Fox sports team has a new podcast called South Carolina Sideline, where we talk Gamecock sports in a more casual, conversational way. And on Thursdays, we release new episodes that are conversations with someone in the Gamecock community. They can be athletes, coaches, journalists, anyone involved with the Gamecocks. And in our newest episode this week, Gamecock softball head coach Ashley Chastain Woodard joins the podcast to talk her first season as South Carolina's head coach, and we also get to know her beyond the dugout. Here is a clip.
The 3 games are it's like back to back to back. It's so much that they have to process as players. And as competitors, you know, they have that high where they're moments away from such an accomplishment. It doesn't happen. It is like grief in a way, I think, as an athlete. As a coach, how much do you talk to them after? How much do you give them space to just let them process what they need to process? How do you approach that?
We take the approach of a lot of conversation. I think if you talk to anybody that played for me or even works for me on the staff, they would say I'm an over communicator about a lot. So there's not much we don't talk about. So yeah, I think we really just make sure that there's nothing left unsaid, especially when you're ending a season and you're losing so many like historic players and just, players that had such great careers, and they've all got really exciting things coming on the horizon for each of them.
South Carolina Sideline is available to watch on YouTube. You can also listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. That's Apple, Amazon Music, Spotify, wherever podcasts are, so are we. Just scan the QR code on your screen and it'll take you right to where you need to go. South Carolina Sideline has new episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. And you can sign up for our Watch Fox sports newsletter for all of our sports stories here at Watch Fox. That's with the Gamecocks, Clemson, Benedict, SC State, high school action, you name it, we got you guys covered. Our sports newsletter is available with all sports happenings here in the Midlands. The QR code, this QR code on your screen, will take you to where you need to go for all of that. We got a little bit of everything for you guys. That'll do it for sports for now. We'll see you for more tonight at 10 and 11.
All right, Matt Dow, thanks for that. Well, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, here are a few events to consider. Starting tonight, Still Hands Brewing is kicking off its Nashville Nights concert series. They're going to have artists coming from Music City to the brewery in Casey for the next few Fridays for live music starting at 6. The South Carolina Caribbean Festival is also hosting events this weekend. Tonight, there's a paint, water, powder night. And tomorrow, there's a parade and block party. Visit our website at watch.com for that interview and more details. And Jurassic Quest is bringing you back in time at the State Fairgrounds. And of course, there's a weekly Soda City Market you can visit to visit some of your local vendors. And before we head on out tonight, today is National Donut Day. So go out and enjoy a sweet treat. But you have to know this day is actually historical. The day was established by the Salvation Army in 1938 to honor women who traveled to France during World War I to serve donuts and other snacks to soldiers. The Salvation Army's national commander is saying it's a time to remember an enduring, unique piece of history and to honor the heroic women and men who served the country. The organization will hand out donuts to veterans and host events across the U.S. So, of course, us here at Watch Fox, we wanted to get in on all the action. So Watch Fox is giving some donuts to deputies with the Richland County Sheriff's Department. They joined us in our studio earlier today for National Donut Day. And you will see 4 of them coming in and telling them thank you so much for what they do. We had some SROs, we had an investigator, the different deputies from the Richland County Sheriff's Department. And of course, you know, Sheriff Leon Lott, if you're watching, it's cool. I'm letting them enjoy today, get their donut because they work very hard to serve and protect us. So once again, to all our law enforcement agents and not just Richland County Sheriff's Department, thank you all for all that you do serving and protecting us. We really do appreciate it.
Good deal.
And of course, it's a good time if you want to eat some donuts outside right now.
Yeah. Whether it's that or a frozen treat to keep you cool, whatever it takes, right? We have an interesting 10-day forecast. A lot going on there. It's going to be hot, especially tomorrow. 94, heat index up near 100 tomorrow afternoon. Pools are going to be busy, I'd imagine, tomorrow. Storms possible late in the day tomorrow, especially south of Columbia. We get a better chance at a little bit more widespread stormy weather on Sunday. And then I think next Tuesday is our best chance at storms next week. But it'll be possible every single day. So it could be a little bit active out there moving forward here.
Yes, Sunday.